bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. Now let's talk about it, man. You know, the NBA and Nike, the sport was telling you guys this stuff a long time ago, but people weren't paying attention or they weren't listening. They weren't getting the memo. So now they don't have to get the memo. The bottom line is this. The NBA has their agenda. Their agenda is very clear. It's an agenda to push LeBron James into a least path of resistance, on the spot, fluky, fraudulent NBA title. Their agenda is very clear. And this is an agenda we saw from the jump. Matter of fact, it's an agenda that Hkhs the Sport saw from the jump, because I knew this whole NBA restart with COVID-19, with BLM, teams taking off anywhere between 4 to 5 months, and then all of a sudden things turning around. All of a sudden we knew what time it was. We knew that the NBA had their agenda, and the agenda was to get LeBron James to win a title in the least path of resistance, in the fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title. And those that are thinking that the Denver Nuggets actually has a chance against the Lakers, all I have to say is things that make you say, Things that make you say, that's not happening. See, the Los Angeles Clippers, they didn't get the job done. I'm not going to make no excuses for them, because Kawhi Leonard didn't do what he was supposed to. He didn't show up. He didn't show out. But with the Los Angeles Lakers, it's all about LeBron all the damn time. When you turn on the TV screen, Shannon Sharp, the GOAT James, LeGoat James. When you look at Skip Bayless is talking about LeBron James might be climbing up the GOAT status. They starting to have that GOAT conversation again. You listen to Jalen Rose. Hey, man, LeBron James, man, he's climbing Mount Rushmore of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's climbing Mount Rushmore of GOAT status. How? Because he's going to win one title, like Shaq said, in a fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title in a least path of resistance NBA season? Come on, man. This season is an asterisk on top of an asterisk on top of an asterisk. This season is an aberration on top of an aberration on top of an aberration. This season has had so many ups and downs. This season hasn't had the fluidity that you expect a regular NBA season to have. The stoppage in teams not playing, and then all of a sudden them regalvanizing themselves and playing. Let's keep it a buck. If the NBA did not have the stoppage that it did, bottom line is this. We would not see the Denver Nuggets in no damn Western Conference Finals. That wouldn't have happened, because the Los Angeles Clippers would have been peaking at the right time. They would have been peaking at the right juncture. They would have had their continuity, because this is a team that just got together. This is a team that just basically are trying to figure out their chemistry. They're trying to figure out their principles. They're trying to figure out their faculties. They're trying to gather themselves. So a team like this, bottom line is this, they have to figure themselves out. Doc Rivers has been a coach for that team for eons. We get that. Yesterday, there was a lot of levying criticism that was attached to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I would say this, 60 to 75% of the criticism that was levied yesterday was acceptable. But we have to understand, and we have to stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. We can't run to the conclusion of the fact that the Los Angeles Clippers have just galvanized together, and they didn't get the opportunity to build their continuity. They played against a team that was actually a team. This is why they lost that series. The Denver Nuggets chemistry held out. And the thing with the Denver Nuggets is they got healthy at the right time. So they were able to turn things around. That's just the bottom line of this. So when we sit here and we look at the series itself and we look at what the series brings to the table, we see that the Los Angeles Clippers, they didn't get exposed. They just basically didn't play up to the level that they were supposed to play to. And the Denver Nuggets basically said, okay, you're not playing to the level you're not supposed to play to. That's not our problem. We're going to play to the level that we're accustomed to playing to, and we're going to take advantage of that. That's what happened in that series. Next year is going to be a different story. But the forecast of this year, the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, he done fucked around and fucked up. Because Jamal Murray now is running his rabbit ass mouth and dissing Shaq, dissing Charles Barkley, dissing everybody that you can think of. This is the biggest, most fatal thing that you could do. The thing that made you reminiscent, Jamal Murray, the thing that made you looking like you was doing something was when you kept your mouth on hush status, when you were quiet, when you weren't running your rabbit ass mouth. Now you're running your mouth as if you done did something, as if you done all of a sudden arrived, as if you done all of a sudden took yourself to the next level, when in actuality, all you've done is gotten to the Western Conference Finals. Truth be told, this is not something that we should be saying whoop-de-doo about when we think of the Denver Nuggets. The reason why I'm saying this is because the Denver Nuggets were expected to be one of the top teams in the West. We predicted this last year, all of us. We said the Denver Nuggets is a team to watch out for because the Denver Nuggets is a team that's stacked up. So them doing what they're supposed to this year is not a shocker. It was actually supposed to happen. The problem is the Denver Nuggets got lost in the weeds. They got lost in the sauce, and they started not having consistency. Nikola Jokic, the Joker. Yeah, now he's playing great basketball, which he's playing great at the right time. You want to be playing great in the NBA playoffs. But he had ups and downs that made us question whether the Denver Nuggets were going to make it or whether they weren't. But it wasn't a shocker that the Denver Nuggets was one of the teams that could have potentially upsetted a Los Angeles Lakers or Los Angeles Clippers. This was stuff we talked about last year. Richy, Rich, you remember this shit. We talked about this shit last year. And I've went back to lives that I've done in 2019 to remember conversations that were had. And I remember emphatically coming out of my mouth, emphatically coming out of your mouth, emphatically coming out of Lewis's mouth when he was on those lives. We said that the Denver Nuggets was a team to watch out for. So I'm not shocked because this team has had enough years under their belt to build their continuity. Now, I agree with Sean O. Clippers should have put better effort. Kawhi should have played better effort. Facts. Kawhi was too comfortable. And I give them credit for that. That's why I dropped those videos. Because when you're option one, you have the burden as option one to deliver in the clutch. Option one doesn't have time to lollygag. Option one is supposed to take the team to the promised land. Option one is supposed to take the team over the hump. Option one is supposed to ensure that the team is doing everything that they're supposed to do. But you know why the criticism on the Los Angeles Clippers is so rampant right now? It's because the Los Angeles Clippers is the opposition for the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. Let's call a spade here, and let's keep it 100. That's why they're getting the criticism that they're getting. Could you imagine if they weren't the Los Angeles Clippers, and let's say they were the Denver Nuggets? Do you think they would have gotten the same level of criticism? Keep that same energy, dog. Let me say it again. Keep that same energy, dog. They would not. They're only getting it because they were a threat to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Denver Nuggets are going to get exposed against the Los Angeles Lakers because basketball is about matchups. Believe it or not, even though the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Clippers were better in terms of them being a matchup problem for the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? Because in the Denver Nuggets series, you don't have no one that can guard LeBron James. Whereas with the Los Angeles Clippers, you got Kawhi. When you look at the scenario between AD and you look at the scenario between Nikola Jokic, they have Nikola Jokic, but he can't play defense. So he's no different than the Los Angeles Clippers that have a freaking Zubac, because both of them are in the same position from a defensive standpoint. But here's the caveat. The Los Angeles Clippers has a player that the Los Angeles Lakers cannot account for, and his name is Paul George. Just like the Los Angeles Lakers have a player that the Los Angeles Clippers can't account for, which is AD. And you see why that team, from a matchup perspective, is more even-killed, why it would be a better series if both of those teams would have gotten there. Denver Nuggets don't match up well with the Los Angeles Lakers because they can't guard LeBron, they can't guard AD. And to me, that series is going to boil in the favor of the Los Angeles Lakers heavy. Plus, we're talking about LeBron James. a guy who gets the brunt of the referee calls, a guy who always gets everything going on in his lagoon, la ref, la favor. Let me say it again. He always gets everything going on in his lagoon, la ref, la favor. So the bottom line is this. The Los Angeles Lakers are not losing to the Denver Nuggets. And I'm willing to bet any damn body on this damn series. Anyone that's fashioning their brains thinking that the Denver Nuggets has a chance, when we know damn well NBA and Nike has invested $90 million. And when I say $90 million, I'm not talking about the next investment that they invested in LeBron James, which is close to $1 billion. I'm talking about the initial. Every time I say 90 million, people that know basketball know what I'm talking about. It's the initial investment they invested in LeBron before he dribbled a basketball. Nike signed a $90 million contract. This was a merger that they had between them and the NBA because they said that this guy was going to be the chosen one. Do you realize that that $90 million investment hasn't been fully recouped, or it hasn't been fully low recouped? And in order for it to be fully low recouped, they need a minimum of 4 NBA championships to denote that investment. Case in point, why do you think this NBA restart started? Because they understood if LeBron doesn't win a title this year, he ain't winning no more titles. Because with Kevin Durant coming back, the Slim Reaper, Mr. KD trade 5, Mr. Crooked little and LeBron James face 35-foot shot in his damn face. That dude right there, they know when he's coming back, it is over for the league because Kevin Durant runs the NBA roughshod. He's a 50, 40, 90 walking gazelle, literally. No one can guard him. He runs like a point guard. He has the height of a center. You can't guard Kevin Durant. All you got to do is admire at the greatness personification that Kevin Durant brings on the basketball court. This is a true alpha extraordinaire at the highest levels on the basketball court. He knows how to put the ball in the basket. He does this effortlessly. And when his ass comes back next year, the NBA knows because he is Mr. Anti-LeBron. He is the guy that has made the legacy officially done, the cachet officially over. So they got to ensure that LeBron gets this title before Mr. KD Trade 5 shows up and shows out. So how does LeBron end up winning the title? In the weakest timeline that we've ever seen in NBA history. And what is that timeline? Fraudulent, fluky, on the spot, least path of resistance NBA title. You got to think about it. Who was the one that pushed for the NBA restart more than anybody else? LeBron, Ramon, James. Who was the one that was polar opposite of Kyrie Irving? LeBron, Ramon, James. Who was the one that was tight-lipped and quiet about BLM? Tight-lipped and quiet about things that were happening amongst the fray? LeBron, Ramon, James. What only NBA team was practicing? See, Jalik don't even know this, so I'm going to school Jalik on this. The Los Angeles Lakers was the only team in basketball that was practicing throughout this COVID-19. They were having scrimmaging when other NBA teams weren't allowed to do this. You see the cheating they do for LeBron? That's why when the Los Angeles Lakers came back in the bubble, everybody was wondering how they were in semi-shape when all these other teams were not. Because the Los Angeles Lakers had an advantage. It's called winning a least path of resistance title, a fraudulent fluky on-the-spot title for Mr. LeBron Ramon James. Every time LeBron wins a title, it's because everything has to work out in his favor. This season has worked out in his favor. Why? Because you got Kobe's death, you got COVID, you got BLM, and you think they're not going to make sure that the Los Angeles Lakers win a title with all of those mitigating factors? To basically say, look at the odds. Look at what LeBron James had to face. LeBron James, look at how he was able to turn things around. Salute to you, Bonetta. Salute to you, Anthony L. Look at how LeBron James was able to win an NBA title in the midst of Kobe's death. Yes, the torch has been passed, even though the torch has never been passed. Kobe never passed no damn torch to no damn LeBron Ramon James. But leave it to the LBJ Riders media. Leave it to the LBJ Brigade. Leave it to the LBJ apologists. Leave it to the LBJ stance. They will tell you that LeBron Ramon James is the anointed king of basketball. Just me saying that makes me want to repulse myself when I say that. That's repulsion. Every time I say that, anytime I have to talk about greatness personification and match it with LeBron, I just want to I just want to love freaking repulse. But that's the truth. And He Knows the Sport was telling y'all, well, Netta, you remember, I was telling them. Anthony L., you remember, I was telling them what's been going on right now with LeBron. Everything is working out in his favor because I saw this a mile away. It's not, see, people are sitting here saying, well, he knows, you said the Lakers and the Clippers. Okay, I didn't get that one. You ain't going to get every prediction. Nobody's blemish free, nobody's spot free. I didn't get that one. But see, I held that one up. I dropped my video. I said I was wrong. I said the Denver Nuggets pulled through. But guess what? The ultimate prediction, y'all, out here in these basketball streets was what? That LeBron Ramon James is going to win this 4th NBA title. And so far, this prediction is holding up. So far, the stars are lining up and showcasing to you guys that LeBron Ramon James is going to win a 4th NBA title out of 10 tries. Now, keep in mind, I have to preference 10 tries because people have to understand basketball is judged in 3 hierarchies. There's the upper echelon of the pantheon of greatness. That's anyone that averages a 50 percentile or higher in NBA Finals average. You have to be an NBA's final averager and performer of 50% or more. Let me explain what that looks like to you, Jalik. That means you have to be at least, if LeBron went to the NBA title 10 times, he would have to win 5 out of 10. You see, he's going 10 times. He's not even at that threshold. He's going to be at 4 out of 10. If you win 50% of your NBA Finals and more, you are considered an upper echelon performer in the pantheon of greatness. Then you have your mid-level echelon. Your mid-level echelon, which is what LeBron is going to be, is anyone that's averaging between 40 and 50%. And then you have the lower echelon, which is where LeBron currently resides. That's anything lower than 40%. That's where the Jerry West's reside of the world. He's 11.6% NBA Finals average. That's where the Wilt Chamberlains of the world reside. He's 2 for 6 NBA Finals average, 40%. LeBron belongs in that company. But you see what I'm saying? The NBA has to ensure that they get him out of that. And by doing that and by justifying that, they need him to win a 4th NBA title. Then NBA and Nike can shake each other's hands and say, we have officially recouped our investment, and we don't care that it happened in an on-the-spot, fraudulent, fluky NBA title. We don't care that it happened in a least path of NBA title. All we care about is LeBron James win so that we could recoup this damn investment. That's the bottom line. Now, next year, what you guys are going to see is a turnaround. Here's what the turnaround that you guys are going to see. You guys are going to see that the Clippers are going to come back. They're going to roar. They're going to be clicking on all cylinders because we're going to have a full NBA season, no stoppages, no interruptions, and they're going to be able to compete with the likes of, guess who? The Brooklyn Nets. But before that whole 3-year reign or that whole 3-year rivalry can happen between Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, they got to make sure that LeBron James leaves and he rides off. You know, you guys ever watch these great Westerns? Lewis knows what I'm talking about because he always be quoting great Western references. In the Great Western, Wyatt Earps of the worlds, these types of folks, there's always a passing of the torch, right? In the Great Western. What is that? They always want you to ride the sunset. They always want you to ride the wave. But when you ride, you want to ride on a high. That's what Great Westerns are all about. How is LeBron James going to ride on a high? Because they know he's on his last leg this year. Is to give him an NBA title in this least path of resistance, fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title season. This is going to denote that. And watch, you know what they're going to say? They're not going to say this was an asterisk year. They're not going to say this was an aberration year. They're not going to say that, oh, there was so much mitigating factors this year. You know what they're going to say? LeBron won when it was all the odds against him. Even Jalik, who is unpro COVID gonna be like, yo, man, LeBron won during COVID. You know LeBron tars, you got to talk like that. LeBron won during COVID, man. LeBron won when the odds was against him, dog. We got to give LeBron James credit out here in these basketball streets, man. He won with Kobe died, man. LeBron won with all of these obstacles, man. This is how LeBron tars are gonna talk. This is gonna be their justification. So Lewis, prepare your mind. Richy Rich, prepare your mind. Jalik, I already know that's gonna be your mind. Prepare your minds because this is how the LeBron talks going to talk. Look at the obstacles that LeBron James had to face. But they're not going to realize that the Los Angeles Lakers had the easiest route to the Western Conference Finals. They played the Portland Trailblazers. Could you imagine if the Los Angeles Clippers played the Portland Trailblazers instead of the Dallas Mavericks? Could you imagine if the Los Angeles Clippers played the Houston Rockets instead of the Denver Nuggets? When you think about it and you put it all together, you could see that the Los Angeles Lakers, as always, had the least half of resistance. If you go back and look at every year that LeBron James has won an NBA title, there has been a common denominator. You guys want to know what that is? I got Mr. Encyclopedia here with me, so he could confirm it. Every one of those years, LeBron James has had an easy road to the fucking finals. Every one of those years. There's not been one year where it was tough. There was always an easy road for this guy. Always. And it's going to continue as is this year. And anyone that's sitting here that's having a wishful thinking mindset that thinks that the Denver Nuggets has a chance of upsetting the Lakers, all I got to say with this is things that make you say, Things that make you say, When it's all said and done, watch LeBron James do what he does to his opponents at the end of a series when he beats them. He's going to pat Jamal Murray on the head and say, good boy, and send him going. And then we're going to see an NBA Finals with the Los Angeles Lakers versus the winner of Miami Heat and the Celtics. That's all I got to say on that. Richy Rich, what's your take on what I got to say?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of merit in what you got to say about the NBA looking out for LeBron, sending him off, because he's on his last legs. He's 35, 17 years in the NBA, 3 championships, a not so impressive finals resume. He's been there 9 times. He's only won 3 of them. In the last 10 years, he's been on very competitive teams, super teams, and he only has 3 titles to show for it in that 10-year run. It's not really impressive. So you could see some stuff behind it where the NBA would like to have him leave off in a good note. To win a title for the Lakers organization. Perception-wise, that's gonna make his fans be more comfortable, have more of a assurance about LeBron's legacy. Not just because if he wins for a Lakers franchise, it's gonna help his legacy. It's a storied franchise. They've got 6. They're the second best franchise with the most titles in the league. You think of the NBA. And the teams that have won the most is the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think LeBron would put himself in Laker lore because he hasn't won multiple titles for the Lakers. To be in that class, like a Kareem, a Kobe, a Magic Johnson, a Shaq, you got to win multiple championships. LeBron would win 1, but the media is going to try to propel it as if he's won more than 1 title for that organization. That's exactly how they're going to do it because everything with LeBron is overhyped. Is like pushed to the limit. That's how he's the player in the NBA. I've seen that the media is trying to say he's better. He's better than sliced bread. Like I've never seen any player in the NBA, not even Michael Jordan, have hype like this. It's ridiculous, but this is the guy that just like you said, the $90 million investment. They've really promoted this guy. They've really played around in some people's minds that he is actually a GOAT. With his resume, he can't be a GOAT. I'll say that he's one of the best NBA players to play the game. There's things that he's done. That he where he's in there. He deserves to be talked about, but he's not a GOAT. He's not the greatest of all time. His talent, you can't undeny his talent. He's a very talented player. You got a game plan for him. He's very durable. You got to give it to him. He's 17 years into this thing. His body is still holding up, so you got to give it to him. Whatever he's doing, it's been working for 17 years. I haven't seen players as durable as him. So you got to give that to him. He's still maintaining his numbers, so that his numbers, his points have dropped off, but his assists has gone up, his rebounds are fairly the same. So I mean, his numbers average out pretty much the same. So that's pretty good. He still maintain his numbers in year 17 at 35. But he's managed. I think him putting himself on teams, switching around, always going to team up with a new superstar. He's managed to kind of like hold off his decline, because he's with AD. AD's doing a lot of the dirty work on the interior. LeBron's not really doing a lot of the dirty work. He's now playing solely focusing more on setting guys up, playing the point guard position. And he's doing less of the dirty work. When he was on the Miami Heat, LeBron was playing higher minutes, and he was doing a lot of the dirty work. If he had to continue playing like that, we would have seen a serious decline. So after that experience, he managed to go play with. He went to go play. You saw what he did when he went to go play with Kyrie, Love, and then now AD. He's trying to attach himself to young guys that can do the dirty work, so he can save his body, save more of his body, so he can continue to play at this level. It's a smart thing, but in my eyes, I'm like, this guy's trying to game the system. He's trying to game the way things have been done, in the NBA for years to come. Where, you play with what you have. If you go and you win and you play with a certain group and you lose with them, you don't leave them. You run it back with them. LeBron is pretty much, like, he plays with a group. If the wheels fall off, he leaves the group. He don't try to see if he can fix those wheels. He just leaves and he goes to a completely new thing. That's who he is. He's an opportunist at his best. So that's who he is, and at his true nature. He's a guy that's gonna only look out for himself. Many people look at that as, okay, he's taking control in his own hands, and he's trying to write his own destiny. Well, I mean, it's a cool thing when you think of it, but in terms of like basketball, purity, that's not how it's supposed to be done, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the game is the game. We look at it as the best is supposed to be the best. But if you're aligning yourself with the best, are you really the best? That's how I look at it. But hey, his fans look at it different. Some of these casuals look at it different. But back on topic, yeah, man. I mean, the Denver Nuggets, they are not going to win this series. They're gonna try. They're going to do whatever they can. But the Lakers were able to see what they did to the Clippers. So the Lakers are not going to relent. They're going to play with a sense of urgency, knowing that this team knocked off a team that had the same expectations as them, whereas they were playing to win, to go to the finals and win. They had huge expectations. So the Lakers, man, when they play this team, you're going to see these guys try to take out. They're going to set up, a game plan to take out Denver's best players. I'm looking for that in Game 1 on Friday. The Lakers have had a lot of time to dissect, watch film, and that's what they're going to do. You're probably going to see them throw traps at Jamal Murray. You're going to see them throw more of those doubles at Jokic. But or when that team is trying to get in there high, pick and pop or pick and roll, you're gonna see the players on the Lakers. They're gonna switch faster, as well as what the Clippers were trying to do. Where the Clippers weren't reading those plays right, or when they finally did it, it was already too late. The Lakers, they've had a time to see the mistakes that the Clippers did that got them upset. The Lakers are not going to make those same mistakes because they got to see what the Denver Nuggets are all about, what they're trying to do. Who's the go-to guy on the Nuggets? Who are the players that the Nuggets are looking to be their go-to guys? The Lakers are going to attack Murray and Jokic. So I mean, the Nuggets could have a chance to make it interesting, but they're not going to win this series, and I can see the Lakers getting to the finals, and in my eyes, it's all about who meets them there. If it's the Celtics, yeah, LeBron's gonna win his fourth title. If it's the Miami Heat, he's still the favorite, man, but Pat Riley, man, Eric Spoelstra, I wouldn't count those guys out. I wouldn't count those guys out because it's the element of surprise, man. They know that guy. They know what he's about. He's played for that organization for 4 years. So they know the nuances of LeBron. It's still not a guarantee that they're gonna beat LeBron in the finals. LeBron is the obvious favorite, but it's what they know. It's the intel that they have on this guy. And the type of defenders that they have on that Miami Heat team now. So that can be a very interesting matchup whereas if LeBron lets up, if nervousness comes into place from him in that series, and we've seen him like when he's played against a team that has him figured out, he lets up. The Miami would have a shot, man, because they know him. They could throw looks at him that could make him second guess himself. So we would have to see. It's not. I mean, it looks like his fourth title is in the bag, but depending on who the matchup is in the finals, I wouldn't just go ahead and give it to him right away. He's gonna have to earn it if he got to play against the Miami Heat. If it's the Celtics, yeah, he's gonna beat those guys. But if it's the Miami Heat, I gotta write it. I gotta come with a different tune with that. He's gotta show me that because Eric's supposed to go game plan. We were on yesterday's show. We was talking about how good of a coach Eric Spoelstra has blossomed to. Eric, you really gonna in a series like that? You really would see the genius of Eric Spoelstra in a series like that because he knows LeBron, man, in and out. He's coached this guy for 4 years. So if it's a matchup I would want in the finals, that's the matchup I would want. I wouldn't want to see the Celtics, but you may not know the NBA might allow the Celtics to win, so it could be at least path of resistance to LeBron. So we gotta wait and see.
Great points. What's your take, Jalik?
Yeah. First, I wanted to say shout out to Rich for being reasonable. The gentleman, the publicist for the Clippers, for some reason he had this weird theory about LeBron, like it was LeBron's fault that the Clippers lost, and also the guy, what's his name, Face the Ghost. So shout out to Rich for being reasonable and did mention that he does have to earn it. Like I said in the last series, you can't just give the Nuggets because they have nothing to lose. They like OKC back in 2010. They don't got nothing to lose. They very, very confident and their confidence is growing. So the Lakers is not just gonna go in there and just beat them like that. I'm picking them to win in 6, but if they lose, I'm not gonna be surprised. Y'all know I think LeBron is the GOAT, but if he lose, he just lose. That's on him. So if he come in there thinking everything is all sweet and he lose, that's on him, because I already feel like the Nuggets is similar to the Miami Eastern Conference, but I think the Nuggets will beat Miami and they'll beat the Celtics. So if the Nuggets beat them, I think the Nuggets is going to win the chip. Let's speak on some things, because it's kind of weird. It's kind of, I don't understand this. I understand how the business works, but do y'all think, what y'all think? LeBron got paid they paid LeBron, and LeBron took something in the Clippers drink and caused their coach to not be reasonable? Like, how can you even come up with that theory? He knows his sports. Hopefully you can answer it when you go again. That's kind of weird. And you said, Rich, and I got to get you too, bro. You said LeBron only thinks about himself. Let me ask you this. I'm sure you've seen the series. Did Michael Jordan fight for Scottie Pippen's contract? Did he fight for his contract? Because he can't win without Scottie Pippen, but did he fight for his contract? So the same thing you projecting on LeBron, y'all savior, was like, what are you talking about? And he be getting contracts for like people without skills. Anytime you got a sport, I don't know if you ever done sales at a job. If you the best sales rep there, you're going to get away with things that the other sales reps on your job is not going to be able to get. If you had a situation where if you was late 5 times, you get written up. If you the best sales rep there, then a lot of jobs, they going to work some things out where you would have to go way above. It just, that's the way it goes, because it's based on money and influence. That's just the way it goes. Like he knows his sports said, aka the publicist. It's a hierarchy, and LeBron brings the most money to them, just like Jordan used to bring the most money to them. That's like a normal, natural thing. Is it fair? Not really, but that's just the way human nature is when it comes to influence and getting people's attention, because it is a business that they have to run. So I'm not taking up for LeBron. He is what he is. He's a good player. 34. I'm on my Luis thing now. 34,421 points without being a gunner. I mean, you got to get a guy some credit. I don't know what's up with Face the Ghost, bro. I don't know if you try to ask for his autograph and he turns you down. I don't get it. But the Nuggets, this is the series that I'm really, really focusing on, bro, because I like just the way the Joker play. I don't like teams that come down the court and just shoot 3-pointers. They set plays. They pick and roll is nice. And their bench is getting more confident. Gary Harris is doing this thing coming off the injury. Paul Millsap, he's making about $30 million. He making about $30 million, and he's about 30. He probably LeBron age, but he got some young, fresh legs these last couple of games, and he's a good influence on them. You know what I mean? Because I remember a few years ago when he was in Atlanta, he done his thing. So that I'm not counting the Nuggets out. I'm picking the Lakers to win, but I'm tuned in every game. And I'm telling you, the first game they lost to the Clippers, and then they lost to the Clippers the first game, but then they started to get back. It's like they play better when they got their backs against the wall. So that could hurt them too, because they can't just be getting in the hole like that. But I don't want to stick too much on this thing. LeBron James, the boy from Akron, is the GOAT. Give him his credit. Give him his credit. Y'all savior, Michael Jordan, didn't have no niggas contract. He wasn't out there on his flip phone talking about Scottie Pippen. He only care about his stuff. He only care about sneakers. We already know how he is. You know, he ain't opening up schools. You know, I already explained the way he is. He like one of them dads that think he a good dad just because he paid child support. He's not on the front line. So we don't even want to get into that today. I already explained that to you, but that's all I got. I ain't want to go too long on that, but you know, y'all know what it is, man.
All right. Now I done brought myself out of this situation so I could clown you and laugh at you real quick. All right. Now, here's some things we got to debunk here. First and foremost, where was LeBron James when Tristan Thompson was trying to get a contract renegotiated? You talk about Scottie Pippen, right? Where was LeBron? It's my turn to talk. Remember, I always know how to counter your ass. Where was LeBron with Tristan Thompson had his situation going on? You know what LeBron James told Tristan Thompson? You need to go out there and fucking play. You need to go out there and you need to contribute for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This whole contract thing, that's between you and the organization. He basically said the same thing that MJ said with Scottie Pippen. So when you sitting here and saying, where was Michael Jordan? Where the fuck was LeBron James? Where was LeBron James when Mo Williams told LeBron the first time around, hey, LeBron, we need you to stay in Cleveland. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving us hanging? You know what LeBron said? Well, I'm not going to tell you nothing. I'm just going to do a speech to say I'm taking my talents to South Beach. This is what LeBron James does to people. So when you want to sit here and say that LeBron is about the people, yeah, he's about the people, all right. He's about his self-interest. This is what Richy Rich was speaking to. He didn't say nothing to his previous teammate. What happened with Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade went over to Cleveland Cavaliers? LeBron James got Dwayne Wade traded, and then he acted as if he didn't know that Dwayne Wade was getting traded. As if any LeBron James teams, LeBron is not the orchestrator behind what's going on. If anybody thinks that LeBron James doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes, you got to be a brain full of mush and a brainwashed doodlehead. Oh, no, my bad. We already got one on the panel. His name is Jalik, the leader. Bottom line is this. LeBron James has already showed you inept ways in so many facets. When LeBron James was asked upon to get involved with other players in the past, i.e. Kevin Love, LeBron James has thrown Kevin Love under the bus so many times. Well, you know, if Kevin Love would have just stayed healthy and Kevin Love wasn't injured, we would be in a position when, hold up, some players just can't help the fact that they're injured. So it's on them. You're supposed to be LeBron Ramon James. You're supposed to be the GOAT. I've never seen Jordan drag a teammate under the bus in terms of injury. And the response that Jordan gave as it pertains to Scottie Pippen, that's a reasonable response. That's not his business as it pertains to Scottie Pippen and his contract. His contract has something to do with Scottie Pippen and the organization. Jordan didn't say nothing wrong here. But Jordan defended Scottie Pippen. You know how he defended Scottie Pippen? In a way that LeBron doesn't understand. Jordan said, if Scottie Pippen doesn't return, I'm not playing. That's defending your teammate right there. Has LeBron ever done that for a teammate? No. LeBron has never said, if Tristan Thompson don't come back. So you forgot about that one. So I have to bring back your memory unless you forgot what happened in that scenario. Tristan thought that because he was under LRMR, you know, that's the agency that LeBron runs. He thought because he was there, Rich Paul and them was going to push for his behalf. You know what LeBron told his rabbit ass? Get your ass on the basketball court and play. But you want to sell this stuff to me that LeBron is a team player? Okay. Dwayne Wade made the ultimate sacrifice to help LeBron James win an NBA title. Damn near had to psychology his ass so that he could be in position so that he doesn't look weak, so he doesn't look like the biggest bust the NBA has ever seen, so that he doesn't look like the most overrated basketball that has ever touched basically a basketball. Dwayne Wade helped him out in this regard. All Dwayne Wade wanted was the favor return because Dwayne Wade saw how the Miami Heat organization was going to basically lowball him because he was no longer going to be the player that he was supposed to be from a basketball standpoint. And you would have thought LeBron would have assisted him on the back end. LeBron knew that Dwayne Wade was getting traded. And then when Dwayne Wade went and asked him, he said, oh, I don't know. Are you fucking kidding me? When we know Dan Gilbert told the spill the beans and said, there's not nothing that goes on in the Cleveland Cavaliers organization that LeBron James doesn't know. When Gilbert, I think that was his name, the GM at the time, he said, there's nothing that happens under the Cleveland Cavaliers watch that LeBron James is not aware of. This is what came out of the management's mouth. This is what came out of the organization's mind. This is what the organization stated as it pertains to LeBron James. Where were you at all of these times when these things were happening with LeBron? So if you want to sit here and say that LeBron James is the GOAT, but you want to forget these little microcosm moments, or you want to forget these multitude of moments that LeBron James has done this stuff, but then you want to point out one thing that MJ said that was factual. If you're going to do that, then I can point out many examples that's pertaining to LeBron. Kyrie Irving told LeBron James, hey, man, we need to share leadership on this team. We need to share responsibility on this team. I'm not I'm not going to be your pawn. You know what LeBron told him? LeBron basically was quiet, acted as if Kyrie Irving, what he was saying didn't make sense. Well, we know damn well Kyrie Irving was just as instrumental as LeBron James in winning the NBA title. That's why Kyrie left, because Kyrie wanted to make sure that this was going to be a 1 and a 1A scenario. This wasn't going to be you going to be Batman, I'm going to be Robin. Where was LeBron there at that point? Nowhere to be fucking found. So when you want to sit here and point out one thing with Michael Jordan, make sure you point out all of the many things that's associated with LeBron James. So when I speak on a position of LeBron, I speak from a position of strength, because LeBron James' NBA ability, NBA basketball record is from a position of weakness. My opinions on LeBron will always be in a position of strength, because LeBron James is an abysmal 33.3% NBA Finals averager and performer. This is his level. So when you want to sit here and tell me about LeBron, this is why Juanetta will call you a clown. Because you're saying that a guy that went to the NBA Finals 9 times and won 3 out of 9 is a GOAT? Then what is your standard of GOAT? Have you allowed yourself to become a brain full of mush and a brainwashed dodo head? Have you allowed yourself to become the way that this Rudy Poo and Plum Brain generation think when it comes to sports? Because to them, it's a love participation award era. Are you part of that era of participation? You just show up to the dance, and just because you show up to the dance, that tells you, because based off of those attempts, you are great? No, that's not the standard. The standard is you show up to that motherfucker and you win it as much as fucking possible. That's the standard. And if you're not doing that, anything less than that, like the Charles Barkley commercial, is uncivilized. That's what we boil down to, Jalik, when we think about this. LeBron James went to the NBA Finals. I want this so that you could think about it, because maybe you went to school and maybe math is something that went over your head. I don't know. Maybe math is something that you're not able to compute. But if somebody goes 9 times, let me speak your language. Let me speak a language that you understand. Michael Jordan is that dude. I'm going to give you a Michael Jordan. I'm going to give you a Kobe Bryant. And I'm going to give you a LeBron James. I'm going to give you a language you understand so you can get it. Michael Jordan talks to 6 chicks and he fucks 6 chicks. He's 100 percentile ratio with fucking. Kobe Bryant talks to 7 chicks and he fucks 5 of them. He's a 71.4% ratio success rate at fucking. LeBron James talks to 9 women and fuck 3 of them. He's a 33.3% ratio with that. What percentage do you want? What percentage does anybody want in that scenario? Do you want to be the 33%er? Do you want to be the 71.4%er? Or do you want to be the 100%er? See, I'm speaking a language that you can understand. This is LeBron James. This is his success rate. Anyone that thinks about a success rate from that scenario, that's lame. That's atrocious. That means that that person doesn't have game. That you went up to 9 people and only 3 of them saw that you had something that you could present to the table. This is LeBron James. And you're trying to tell me this is GOAT status? Higgity fucking hush, man. I rest my case on that. Now, you should mention another conversation here that makes absolutely no sense. When you sit here and you say that, LeBron James, man, he did something that Michael Jordan didn't do. I'm going to read that comment that you just said so I can laugh at that damn comment. So that you could look at this comment and you could tell yourself this question. You said Jordan and Horace Grant. Maybe you watched The Last Dance. Here's the thing with Horace Grant. Horace Grant has a name because the bottom line, the reason why Horace Grant has the name that he has is because of Michael Jordan. And that whole thing with Horace Grant and Michael Jordan, there was really no beef there like that. That's a media contrived thing. Really, the person that you need to ask yourself the question is Michael Jordan and John Paxson. Because when they asked Horace Grant what the beef was, you know what he said? I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, he knows sport. Now I used to hear you cuss like this, but I love it. Low. Damn right. I'm not a cursor, but I had to speak a language, Anthony L., that he understands. Because he always likes to talk about dudes and chicks, right? If I had a 33.3 percentile, which I don't, ratio success rate at fucking a woman, that's bad. That's bad for business. This is LeBron James. This is what I want you to understand in your brain. And I know even you could understand that's not good percentile for any person. That's bad. That's horrible. But you're trying to tell me that success rate is a success rate that contrives itself to GOAT status. And then when we hit you on the GOAT status and we put the unlimited pressure on you, you talk about apolitical stuff. You talk about stuff that has nothing to do with basketball. But we're talking about basketball here. See, last time I checked, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is a basketball player. Kobe Bryant is a basketball player. LeBron James is a basketball player. So when we think of basketball, we have to judge them based on what? Basketball.
Better than Tom.
We don't judge them on anything else. We judge them on their ability to dribble a basketball. See, when I think of a basketball player, I think of what they bring to the sport. Just like boxing. When I judge boxers, I judge them based on what they bring in the square circle. I don't care what they do in their outside affairs. It's the same principle and the same rule that applies here in basketball. And LeBron James has told us that he's an abysmal 33.3% NBA Finals averager and performer. But you say that's GOAT material. This is why people are laughing at you. This is why people are laughing at anybody that prescribes to the theology of LeBron. That's right. LeBron has a school of theology. It's called LeBron-tards. They're retards. We just put the "le" in front of it, and we put the "bron" next to it, and then we put the "tard" on it on the back end. They are LeBron-tards. You guys have a school of theology, because how can you rationalize somebody having a 33.3% NBA Finals average and say that's GOAT status? So you could lose as many finals as possible, and you could say it's GOAT status. And you know, it's the thing that trips me out with LeBron-tards. Every time LeBron loses, you know what they say? But that don't affect his GOAT status. What the what? Hold up. So this man could lose 20 times. He's still a GOAT? That's not GOAT material, man, because when we use the word GOAT, we're talking about greatest of all time in their respective field. And if that's the case, you have to look at who has won the most. You have to look at who has the best winning percentile. You have to look at who's won at the highest levels the best. And you know who's done that? Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the guy that you hate. I think Michael Jordan probably dissed you when you was a kid. Maybe you was looking for an autograph and he said, "Get the hell out of my face." Something happened with you and Michael Jeffrey Jordan to where you have this disdain. I noticed that there's always a pattern. Anybody that has an issue with Jordan, anybody that has to say anything critiquing about Michael Jordan, something happened. Case in point, Shannon Sharp. You know why Shannon Sharp can't stand Michael Jordan? Because Michael Jordan wouldn't let him be in the parties. Michael Jordan wouldn't let him hang out with him and Scottie Pippen. That's where that come from. Charles Barkley, when he started recently talking bad about MJ, is because MJ kicked him out of the posse. You know what the posse was? It was MJ, Charles Barkley, and Tiger Woods. He kicked them out of the freaking posse because he said Charles Barkley runs his mouth too damn much. And then you saw Charles Barkley start running his rabbit ass mouth. Scottie Pippen, when he started saying what he said about LeBron, it's because Michael Jordan wouldn't bail his ass out when he went bankrupt. So you can find a common denominator here with every time somebody has said something. Then what happened? MJ hit Scottie Pippen with a little bit of bread. Oh yeah, man, hey, MJ's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a common denominator of every time somebody says something against MJ. When you think basketball, you have to think MJ above all other players because that's the standard. And you know how? Because the guy that you prescribe as the GOAT, guess who he idolizes? You see what I'm saying? You ether in your own point when you go for LeBron James. Because when you go for LeBron James, you technically indirectly are going for Michael Jeffrey Jordan. This is what LeBron-tards don't get. Because who does LeBron James idolize? You should be telling me, you the LeBron-tard. He idolizes Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That means because Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the standard. You know what Michael Jordan is? He's the equivalent of what Floyd Mayweather is in boxing. Love or hate him, he's the best. You can't get behind that. All you got to do is hate it because you got to understand it's unquestionable. It's undeniable what they've done. Just like Floyd Mayweather's undefeated, he's beaten every opponent in front of him. He's Mr. Every Man's Style. It's the same thing with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He's undefeated. He's 100 percentile NBA Finals average. So if you bring up Joe Montana, then how can you sit here and talk about Joe Montana, but then you don't talk about Michael Jordan in the same breath? That don't make no sense. You see, even you are a hypocrite in your own brain. Even you are at odds with your own brain. Because on football, you sound like you know what you're talking about. Because you said Joe Montana. But then when it comes to basketball, the same rules don't apply. If you say Joe Montana, look at this, y'all. That's why Ronetta said clown. Ronetta, I want you to see this. Look, I didn't come out of my mouth. Look what this dude said. Joe Montana, 100%, 4 rings. Tom Brady, 66%, 6 rings. So I guess Joe Montana is better. Get the fuck out of here. Here's the problem. Joe Montana is an undefeated football player. In my estimation, when you talk about football and you talk about that aspect of things, that's a little bit different. But when we're looking at winning wise, hold on, I'm not done yet. When we look at winning wise and we look at unquestionable what they've presented to the table, Joe Montana has the same stat that Michael Jordan had. They both are unquestionable 100%. Do you know why people still argue that Joe Montana and Tom Brady, you could go back and forth with them, back and forth in terms of who's the GOAT? Tom Brady went to the dance more times, but Joe Montana is unquestionable 100% winner. And that is something you can't wrap your brain around. So when people say that Joe Montana, in my estimation, is the GOAT in football, I can't dispute that. You know why? Because he has something that Tom Brady will never have, which is he is absolute. It's called absolution. Absolution gives you a asterisk. Absolution gives you a conundrum. Absolution creates a whirlwind in of itself. When you are 100% in your respective sport, that's like a napalm. That's an ether. That's that shit that make your soul burn slow, that you could drop on the table and go, because nobody can speak to that. I don't have a problem when people go back and forth between Joe Montana and Tom Brady. I prefer Tom Brady because everybody knows I'm a Tom Brady fan. But I don't discredit anybody that says Joe Montana because I understand where they're coming from. He never lost. That's a powerful equation. But here's the thing. Here's why your scenario here is flawed. Because Tom Brady at least is a 67 percentile winner. You can't use that simile because LeBron James is a 33.3% winner. You see what I'm saying? That simile falls hard. If you were going to use that simile, LeBron would have had to been a 67 percentile winner for you to use that. But he's not. That means Tom Brady's upper echelon material. So that's why that whole conundrum between Tom Brady and Joe Montana makes sense, because we're talking about upper echelon versus upper echelon. But when we talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, we're talking about upper echelon between bottom feeder echelon. That don't make no sense. That's apples and oranges. That's oil and water. You know what that means? That means the shit don't mix. So when you sit here and get on Michael Jordan, I get it. Michael Jordan must have banged your chick. Michael Jordan must have not signed your autograph. Something happened with you and Michael Jordan for you to have to wrap your brain around him not being the GOAT in your mind. Something happened. This is not about being a cult follower. This is not about none of that. LeBron talks to cult followers. When you sit here and don't say that Michael Jordan is not the greatest player of all time, it's as if you don't know basketball. Anyone that knows basketball, even at the primitive level, the first thing that got to come out of your mouth, it's like it's NBA law. It's automatic. You have to say NBA is the GOAT. And if you don't, you've already, basically, your basketball knowledge is in the dumpster. If that doesn't even come out your mouth, it's in the dumpster. Especially if you're going to say LeBron. Now, if you say to me, Michael Jordan is not the GOAT, I have Magic Johnson or I have Bill Russell, then we could kind of deal with your ass. Because now you're giving us somebody that, okay, we could understand where you're coming from. Because before MJ, they were talking about Magic was the GOAT. And then before that, they were talking about Kareem. And then before that, they were talking about Bill Russell. Now, if you start talking that language, then you get passes. But if you're going to sit here and say LeBron, you might as well revoke your NBA basketball card. You might as well. Because anyone that has sense, anyone that knows the game of basketball knows this is the NBA law in of itself. Whether you love or you hate the man, you gotta respect greatness personification in front of you. Now, outside of basketball, if you want to say LeBron with his homeboys and all that, that's other of what we would say banter that you can talk about. Fine, that's okay. You can talk about that. Nobody's going to dispute that because LeBron has done some good things. He's taken his homeboys, brought them up. You know, now they have money. I can understand those things, but that has nothing to do with basketball. And when people bring those things up to me, I just do this. Because to me, it's not basketball you're talking. You got to tell me about basketball. And you notice, as a LeBron tard, you can't tell me nothing about basketball. And then when you sit here and say Phil Jackson, well, duh, any great player is going to play with a great coach. Use the football analogy. Joe Montana, you know, he had, you know, a great coach. If Joe Montana did not have the coach that he had, they wouldn't have gotten as far as they did. That's just the bottom line. When we look at Tom Brady, he had, you know, Bill Belichick. If he didn't have him, they would have been screwed. So we got to ask ourselves these underlying questions, and we have to ask ourselves these things. All great players have something in common. They have great coaches. They have coaches that teach them. Bill Walsh, that's his name. They have great coaches that teach them how to win at the highest level. There's always a connection with greatness. There's always going to be a great coach. Magic Johnson, Pat Riley. Who else? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Pat Riley. There's always a connection. Bill Russell, Red Auerbach. You see what I'm saying? There's always a connection. So you can't use this nonsense about LeBron James. LeBron James, Eric Spoelstra under the tutelage and the footmaster tutorship of Pat Riley. Pat Riley was the one yanking LeBron every other day, bringing his rabbit ass up there saying, why the hell are you playing like this? Why the hell are you playing basketball this way? That's just the way it rolls. Now, Jalik, the leader, said he knows the sport. Shut up and dribble mentality. Well, you can draw whatever assumptions you want out of this. See, that's what we call satire. That's what we call an outlier. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. But it's expected for LeBron tards to use outliers because you can't attack the bullhorn by its head. The bullhorn is this. Michael Jordan is 6'6" in NBA Finals average. You can't get your head around that, LeBron tard. He never let that thing go to 7. He got 6 Finals MVPs. LeBron James is 3 for 9 NBA Finals average. 3 Finals MVPs. Plenty of times let that thing go to 7 games. You can't get your head around that. See, these are the arguments. These are the conversational pieces that we have to have. And when we have that, to sit there and usurp Michael Jordan with LeBron James, that tells me that this generation of basketball is in a bad state because they don't understand what greatness personification is about. They don't understand what winning is about at its highest levels. That's all I got to say with that. Now, let's jump on to the next topic. All right. Let's talk about this, man. We were continuing on. Thank you, Wonetta. Bingo. Hey, you know me, man. I always get my clap back. My clap back is sick. Anyways, now let's talk about it. Celtics versus the Heat. Bottom line is this. This series right here, as you guys know, the Celtics don't play. They already struck first blood. They did their thing. They sandwiched up the Boston Celtics. They're up 1-0. I feel that the Miami Heat, they have basically what I would say the team concept, the team continuity, the team chemistry for them to take over and do their thing. Miami Heat is just a better coach team, basketball team. We're talking about Eric Spoelstra versus Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is going to get circles ran around him from a coaching standpoint because like Richy alluded to yesterday, Eric Spoelstra is a guy that does film study. If you guys want to understand a little bit about Eric Spoelstra started out, this guy was in the lab as what we would say a film coordinator, a film study coordinator. This guy was basically doing film study on basketball topics, doing film study on how he could help Pat Riley and the Miami Heat turn these things around. And then he graduated from that to then he became a person that was on the bench. Then he graduated from that to becoming an assistant coach. This is a guy that crawled before he fucking walked. This is why I respect Erik Spoelstra, because he started from the bottom and now he's here. Let me say it again. He started from the bottom and now he's here. Erik Spoelstra is a guy that started from the trenches. This is why he knows the X's and O's. And everybody that could speak to Erik Spoelstra speaks to the fact that this guy lives in the video room. He lives watching film. He lives watching film study on the opposing team. I believe that in the midst of Jimmy Butler finding a home with the Miami Heat and him actually having a team that could lead him to the promised land, the Miami Heat are going to be a problem for the Boston Celtics, because the Boston Celtics have proven in the last series, played against the Toronto Raptors, a series they should have closed out early. They have a lot of moments where they collapse mentally. They have a lot of moments where they don't close out scenarios, and they're getting a rude awakening from a Jimmy Butler that has a lot to prove. Jimmy Butler has a mission. He wants to prove to the NBA that I'm not this guy that you guys are making me out to be. This guy that you guys said that I'm not a team player. I remember the other day, Tyler Hero was being interviewed by, I think her name is Taylor Brooks, if I'm not mistaken. And part of that interview, Tyler Hero was talking about, she asked Tyler Hero the question, how is Jimmy Butler as a teammate? Do you feel that Jimmy Butler deserves the flack of the reputation that he has, that he's a bad teammate? And Tyler Hero said three things that were profound. The first thing he said was, anybody that says that Jimmy Butler is a bad teammate, they don't know shit about basketball. Then he also preferenced and said, if it wasn't for Jimmy Butler, my progression wouldn't have gotten as fast as it was. He's truly a leader on the basketball court. He leads by example. He leads in the gym. He's always the first one there. He's always the last one to lead. He's always leading the drills. We see that with Jimmy Butler. This is a guy that the one thing that Jalik, the leader, said that made sense yesterday, in order for you to be a quality two-way player, you have to be conditioned on both sides of the equation. You have to be conditioned on both sides of the basketball. Jalik, the leader, made a lot of sense when he said that. Outside of all the other things that he said that didn't make sense, that made a lot of sense. And the bottom line is, it did make a lot of sense because that's what you see in Jimmy Butler. A guy that is fine-tuned in his game. And a guy that's saying that I'm going to take the mantle as a leader, just like Tyler Hero said, and I'm going to take this team over the top. He said he loves the fact that Jimmy Butler is a vocal leader and that he basically is pushing the agenda in the gym. And then they asked Tyler Hero, well, what's his relationship with him and Bam Adebayo? He said Bam Adebayo is the quiet leader. Although he's young, he's a leader nevertheless. But the fact that Bam Adebayo showcases the level of respect that he showcases for Jimmy Butler, I don't know what people are talking about when people say that Jimmy Butler is a bad player. Maybe it was about fit. Woo! When he said that, that was that napalm. That reminded me of what I've been saying over the weeks. He said maybe he just fits right with the Miami Heat and he didn't fit right with those other organizations. But from my understanding, to me, the quality leader. The reason why that's big is because everyone knows Tyler Hero is one of those new, upcoming young players that's emerging. Should potentially have won Rookie of the Year. Is a candidate for Rookie of the Year award. And for him, at the tender age of 20 years old, to come out of his mouth and say what he said about Jimmy Butler, that speaks volumes. That tells me that that team has continuity. That tells me that that team is on the same page and they're speaking the same language. The advantage that the Celtics have is they've been together longer, but it doesn't look like they're showcasing that they've been together longer. And I feel that where Miami Heat is going, where Pat Riley has brought this team back from the ashes, because this is what Pat Riley does. The way that he was able to turn this team around, it would be nice. Matter of fact, it would be sweet to see, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. The reason for that is it would just be a bittersweet to see Pat Riley and Erik Spoelstra go against LeBron James because they know LeBron's tendencies. They know LeBron's strengths. They know LeBron James' weaknesses. And to me, an NBA Finals like that would be reminiscent. And going to Wonetta's point where she said, I respect Jimmy Butler, I respect him too. Because Jimmy Butler is a stand-up dude. This is a guy that's a quality basketball player. He just needed an opportunity. And like I've been saying from the jump, he found a home. Because Jimmy Butler is a hard-nosed worker. He's a blue-collar worker. When you look at the Miami Heat, that's the way they play basketball. They are a blue-collar team. So I could understand the simile. I don't know if Jalik said that. I don't know if Richy Rich said that. I could understand the simile or the parody that they made between the Miami Heat and the Detroit Pistons. I could get that because that makes sense. They got an anchor in Bam Adebayo. He kind of reminds you of Ben Wallace in a sense. You got Jimmy Butler that reminds you of Chauncey Billups. You know, you got all of these other pieces, man. They are doing their things. They're hitting their strides and their peak at the right time. And I feel that if the Boston Celtics doesn't gird up their loins and they don't figure it out, the Boston Celtics are in a heap of trouble. Now, Jalik, the leader, I'm going to let you go, and Richy Rich, you go on the back end. What's your take on the Celtics and the Heat, man?
My fault, bro.
No, it's good.
Yeah, this like yo, to be honest with you, I picked the Celtics to win, but deep down inside, I want him to win, bro. I want him to win, like hands down. Like I want Jimmy Butler to win because he proved me wrong, bro. I like for people to prove me wrong because I ain't going front. I thought he was selfish. I was like, he's going to be the only star in Miami. Why is he going to Miami? But that's why you got to listen to your own intuition and live with it. So I'm actually happy for him, bro. And they done way better than what I expected. And they on the rise. Hopefully he can stay conditioned and his hopefully he can stay conditioned and his health stay good because because that's gonna be a thing, man. Because I like teams like that, bro. They good. They got some shooters, but they not the stupid ass Houston that just come down. I can't. When you start shooting threes like that, I turn the TV off, bro. I can't watch that. And their defense is good and I like the fact that they stuck with Eric Spoelstra because they could have fired him and they'd be like, you know what? They stuck with him because it was some seasons that they wasn't doing good. They was just the laughing stock of the NBA. People's like, yo, what are they going to do? They need to sign this person. So I tip my hat off to them, bro. And I actually want them to make it to the finals. Like I picked the Celtics, and with them winning game one, the pressure is on the Celtics. Kemba Walker is gonna have to do some stuff because Kemba Walker has got to do some stuff because it's getting hectic, bro. And they match up well with the Celtics. I thought that Tatum being who he was and Jaylen Brown being who he was, I thought they would outdo him in a sense. But their bench, in my opinion, is better because they only like 9 deep. In the Celtics, they only like 9 deep. So Houston, Miami has got much more players on their team and they know how to use Iguodala because he's not the Iguodala from 2014 or the Iguodala of the Sixers and the Nuggets, but he still can contribute. And Iguodala, future Hall of Famer, people be sleeping on Iguodala. He knows how to handle the rock and he knows how to do small things and play that defense. I say now with them winning game one, bro, and the way the momentum is, and the way their confidence is, I think they can probably win. 2 days ago, I wasn't sure, but I think they can win. Like I think they can win in 6 or 7 now. But I gotta stick with my pick with the Celtics, bro. But my hat off to Jimmy Butler, bro. For him to win, if anybody was to beat LeBron, I wanted to beat Jimmy because he would get his first chip. He took the road less travel. I like people that take the road less travel and win. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got on that. I'm changing my crib around too. So it's like I gotta move all types of stuff around, bro. But I'm still here. Richy, you on mute?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you there?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it.
No, I'm here. I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to add on to the great points you guys made about the Miami organization and Jimmy Butler. I mean, you gotta tip your hats off to them, man. I mean, because people were writing them off at the beginning of the season. Yeah, like, why is Jimmy Butler going over there? You know, who do they have? Who does he have on that team? You know, that's how are they going to contend in the Eastern Conference? And they've they've proven a lot of us wrong. You know, people didn't really think the Heat were going to be where they're at right now in the Eastern Conference Finals, shocking the Boston Celtics in Game One. And the team, the type of culture they have a great chance of winning this series. You know, being the Eastern Conference representative in the finals. Jimmy Butler, man, I mean, he's been, you know, around the NBA. He's been on a few teams, man, already. He's been on this is his fourth NBA team. You know, it didn't work out in his first three teams, but he's finally found a home, and Miami Heat is the place for him because Jimmy Butler, like he knows said, man, he's a hard nosed worker. He's a player, he's the reason why he had issues in those other organizations is because the players that were around him, they when you feel like you're trying your best to do what you can at your job, you're in a job that has kind of like a team setting where everyone has to pull their weight. Uh, Jimmy's in the gym, he's working hard, but he notices some of the other teammates they're not putting in work like he's putting in work. So the team, they're not winning games. They're underachieving. They're underperforming to what their potential is. A guy like that is going to have an issue with that, and that was his main issue on those other teams. Though his teammates, he felt some of his teammates on his previous teams weren't doing what they were supposed to do in the gym. They weren't working hard as a team to get to where they needed to be, what their ultimate goal was. And Jimmy had a problem, and then that's when the issues came. It is where he started drama in those locker rooms because he was getting tired of that, man. And you know he caught flack for that. He developed a bad rep for that. But those organizations, when you look at those organizations, they weren't really about they weren't serious about winning anyway. The Chicago Bulls, that's a team, man, that they always had issues. Ever since D Rose got hurt, that team just didn't know what to do next. Because they they put everything behind D Rose, and when he tore his ACL, they tried to patch it up with a band-aid. They got Jimmy Butler, but then him and Rose tried to run it, and it didn't work out because Rose wasn't the same player he was that he used to be. There was because he never sustained the injury like that, and then Rose was approaching the game in a more delicate way than he used to, and then that kind of caused some friction with Jimmy and some other guys on the team, and it didn't work out there. And then we all know what happened in Minnesota, man. And Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, those young players, man, they're just not hard workers. They came in with a mentality uh, coming into the game that they arrived, and we got to worry about locking up our big contracts and stuff like that. They're looking at the NBA as more of like a status thing, man, than actually going and competing, working hard, trying to be the best who you can be, so you can make your team a contender. Jimmy had a problem with those two guys because he didn't think those guys were working as hard as they were supposed to. And Jimmy, he once again, was playing for Coach Thibodeau. And he was one of the players that he had an issue with being coached by Thibodeau with the Chicago Bulls because Thibodeau ran Jimmy into the ground. He played Jimmy a lot of high minutes, and then when he goes back to Minnesota, Tom Thibodeau's the head coach over there, and now Tom Thibodeau, he wants Jimmy to be the leader on the team, but Jimmy notices that those two guys, the future, so-called future Wiggins and Towns, they're not hard workers. So he does what he does so he can get off that team, and it worked. And then he went to Philly, and then you see Philly, they had extremely talented players and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid is always hurt, and Ben Simmons, he doesn't want to improve his jump shot, and the head coach Brett Brown doesn't want to hold those guys accountable. So Jimmy, he found himself in another situation where it was going to be uncomfortable for him. But during that time in Chicago, when D Wade played that sole year with the Chicago Bulls, when the Miami Heat didn't want to pay him up, he went to Chicago, and the Chicago Bulls gave D Wade his $20+ million. D Wade was in Jimmy's ear. He was telling him about the Miami organization and how that organization would be a perfect fit for him because, D Wade noticed how hard Jimmy liked to work, how serious he was, and his approach to the game, and how he wanted his teammates to work hard as well. So he would constantly tell Jimmy, man, how great of a fit him and the Heat organization would be. They're a first-class organization. You saw my time with them, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't work out in the end because they thought I was a lesser player, so they didn't give me the contract that I thought I was due. But, D Wade always had nothing but great things to say about the organization because he played for them for so long. His jersey number is retired there. And that made Jimmy think, man, especially after and during this off season. He was like, man, let me go see what D Wade is talking about with that Miami Heat organization. And he got an opportunity to sit down with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, and it was smooth sailing from then. And now they're here in this position, and they have a great chance to get to the finals, man. So the Heat, man, they got a great nucleus, man. Guys that fit together. I think it was Lewis that mentioned that they kind of give them this. This Heat team kind of gives you that Detroit Pistons team feel from 2004, where you don't have superstars on this team. Jimmy's not a superstar; he's an all-star level player. But if he's able to go and get to the finals and possibly win that finals, it propels him to superstar status. It puts him in an elite class of the other elite wingmen, and he's finally gonna get his just due, his just earned respect amongst the other elites. In the media's eyes, he's gonna get that respect because we look at the elite wingmen, and who comes to mind is off the bat, it's LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. But when we bring up Jimmy Butler, we always say Jimmy Butler's not on their level. He's under those players.
Yep.
He's a tier below them. But if this guy is able to go and take care of business, get this Heat team organization to the finals, most likely play against LeBron and beat LeBron, win his first championship, acquire the Finals MVP, this guy's going to be on that elite status, man. Mm-hmm. And, he's finally going to get his respect, man. And I believe, they're taking it one game at a time, but I wouldn't be surprised if things like that have crossed Jimmy's mind while playing on this Miami Heat team. This is the first time him as a leader is you see things are going well. So I can't say this hasn't crossed his mind. I have a feeling thoughts like this have crossed his mind because he wants to be on that elite status. He wants to be respected. So he got to take care of business. He got to continue to do what he keeps doing. He got dogs on that team. He got talented players on that team. They're deep. Savvy veterans. Everybody can do something that can contribute something to that team. And I'm gonna be honest. They do have the makings. They look like that Detroit Pistons team. Everybody has a role on that team. And teams like that are scary, man, because you end up underestimating them, and then next thing you know, you lose 4-1 in the series against them. And you're pondering to yourself, how did we lose against a team like that?
Exactly.
But it's because those guys, they're hard workers, man. It's a first class organization that's very serious about developing their players, about getting their players right mentally and physically. And when you got an organization like that, if you play them, you in for a dogfight. So we gotta give it all. We gotta give it to the Heat. Boston Celtics, they're in for a dogfight in this series. If they want to win this series, they are going to have to outmatch the Heat. But that Celtics team, they have bad habits, so it feeds into the Heat's hands. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. So let's jump on to the next topic, man, because we got to talk about it, man. This is going to be the last one that we're going to cover. How do you guys feel with this whole fiasco of the Los Angeles Lakers, the NBA, Nike, all of them making it feel like, when we look at LeBron James and we look at Kobe Bryant, how they're saying that LeBron James, is going to be the guy to have the torch passed to him from Kobe Bryant. In terms of the fact that they're basically saying that the NBA Mount Rushmore, which started with Kareem, translated over to Magic, translated over to Shaquille O'Neal, now translating over to Kobe Bryant. Now they want to push it over LeBron James. Even if LeBron wins the title this year, I want you guys' take on how the NBA is pushing this narrative that LeBron James has automatically basically been fast forwarded up to Mount Rushmore, and he hasn't done what these guys have done, which is be multiple winners in multiple occasions to get the Mount Rushmore title. How do you feel about that? And what's your take on that? I'm gonna start out with Jalik.
Will LeBron being on the Mount Rushmore?
On the Lakers Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Because if you on the regular Mount Rushmore, now Lakers got. They got Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, Jerry West. They got a Mount Rushmore, but they would definitely put him on the Lakers Mount Rushmore if he win at least one ring. Because it's kind of hard to now. It's kind of almost like. I think he'd be on a regular Mount Rushmore, but to put him on a Lakers Mount Rushmore after 2 seasons and he didn't even make the playoffs, I would say nah, actually. But he on a regular Mount Rushmore, so that's what I say on that one. But to put him on the Lakers, you got to at least be playing there at least like 5 seasons, bro, not 2 seasons. That'd be kind of crazy right there because Kobe spent what? 96 to whatever he retired, like 15, 16 years, and Shaq was there for a minute. Yeah, so I won't put him on the Lakers Mount Rushmore, bro. I'll put him on just the regular Mount Rushmore. I'll put him, with the GOATs. But you gotta put him in the center. It's like a pyramid. You know how the pyramid, like the 7 chakras, you put him at the top. The crown, the crown chakra at the top.
Okay. What about you, Richy Rich?
Yeah, man. To put that guy into a Lakers Mount Rushmore, it's disrespect to the guys that played on that franchise and that won those titles for that organization. They won multiple titles, multiple championships. They truly were blood, sweat, and tears for that organization. And to put him in that class, that's disrespectful, man, and that kind of lowers the bar for the Lakers. So why would they be trying to like lower expectations for LeBron James? So if it's another player that comes that decides to go play for the Lakers, let's say if LeBron does win the ring, you're gonna put him on the same class with those guys. Okay, let's say if one of these younger guys decide to go to the Los Angeles Lakers in the future, I don't know, be it maybe whoever when they become a free agent, maybe Luka Doncic. I'm just throwing names out there. He decides he wants to play for the Lakers organization. further on in his career, he wins one ring for the Los Angeles Lakers. Are we gonna put it on as the same level as LeBron's one ring, or as Kobe's 5 championships, or as Shaq's 4 championships, or as Kareem's 5 championships, or Magic's 5 championships? It's asinine. You can't do that.
Facts.
Obviously, you gotta LeBron James. He would get respect from the organization. You gotta respect him. He went out there and he was able to win a title for the franchise. So we respect him. We respect him as a guy. You know what? He came here. He didn't waste his time. He got us a ring. So he deserves respect. But we're not gonna put him on that same class of those other greats that came here. That they won multiple titles. They committed to longer years. They sweat. They bled purple and gold. LeBron didn't bleed purple and gold. He came here for his own personal reasons. So uh, with that, fans gotta really start using their brains, man, because they let the media, kind of, dictate, or give the answer for them. Casuals gotta start thinking for themselves. Like, okay, nah, we can't keep taking what these people are saying to us. We gotta really like look into this, look into the history, look, see what these other guys did for these franchises. Let's look and see what their body of work is. They're trying to sell LeBron like he's this new sliced bread. Nah, man. LeBron's a great player. He has some accolades. He's gonna get more. He's gonna break more records because he's trying to go for legacy stats. He's trying to play as long as he possibly can to acquire as many records as he can. So he wants to try to. This is what he's trying to do, and he knows this. He's aware of this. He knows if he can break as many records as he can, like the points per game, or uh, triple doubles, or certain type of stats that stand out. He could be remembered in people's minds. That's what he's trying to do. He wants to get these things so these people could be like, damn, LeBron James did this. Yeah, man, he's a GOAT. He's the GOAT. That's what he's trying to do. He knows he's not going to eclipse a certain person in championships, but he's trying to go after legacy stats. And if he wins one ring for the Los Angeles Lakers, and he acquires legacy stats, a lot of these legacy stats, he's gonna, perception wise, he's gonna be able to have a side of people say that he's the GOAT, and that's what he wants.
Exactly.
But I'm done with that.
All right. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna read 10 of LeBron James quotes, and I'm gonna read 10 of Kobe Bryant's quotes. Listen, when I Google Kobe Bryant, I Google Michael Jordan, automatically, instinctively, you see their quotes. And the reason why is quotes are something that's synonymous with greatness personification. Let me say it again. Quotes are something that are synonymous with greatness personification. Only those who have impacted people on this planet in whatever respective genre that they've impacted them on have quotes right up under their names. This is proven. You go and put up Maya Angelou, you go up and put up anybody profound, you will see quotes under them. And when you do that with Michael Jordan, you see it instinctively. When you do that with Kobe Bryant, you see it instinctively. But when you do it with LeBron James, you don't see it. I had to actually go in depth. I actually put LeBron James quotes just to put it, because he does not have a profound effect from that standpoint. But let me read his quotes. This is LeBron James. So I want y'all to hear me. Hear me? Well, LeBron James said you have to be able to accept failure to get better. Okay, that sounds good. Akron, Ohio is my home. It will always be remembered. Akron, Ohio is my life. That sounds good if you were to stay a Cleveland Cavalier your whole NBA career, but you didn't. So, and When you have that respect from your teammates, it makes it a lot more comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna put a bunch of question marks behind that. I need music. It's like my heartbeat, so to speak. It keeps me going no matter what's going on. Bad games, press, whatever. Okay, I can understand that. I'm just happy to be part of the Nike family. Yeah, they gave you a $90 million contract before you dribble the basketball. So I would be happy too. I don't know how tall I am or how much I weigh because I don't want anybody to know my identity. I'm like a superhero. Call me basketball man. There's a lot that you can impact in that one. That was actually a deep quote because it speaks to his 27th law of power quote like following ways. It speaks to him not wanting you to know much about him. I could go on and on about that quote, but I'm going to leave it there. Being the only man in the household with my mom definitely helped me grow up fast. Okay, that's a good one. I'm a pretty funny guy, and I would love to do a comedy with a bunch of funny guys, movie star guys, where they can help me through it. I've seen you act, LeBron. Nah. In terms of you playing around in the locker room and things of that nature, okay, I could get it, but nah. But sports carried me away from being in a gang or being associated with drugs. Sports was my way out. Okay, I understand where you come from with that. My mom and I always have been there for each other. We had some tough times, but she was always there for me. I can understand that. I can relate to that. And I get where you're going with that. That makes sense. But here's the thing. As I sat here and read to you guys LeBron James quotes, did any of it impact you? Did any of it stand out to you? No. It's just basically random quotes. Now I'm going to read to you 10 of Kobe Bryant's quotes. This is the moment I accept the most challenging times will always be behind me and in front of me. You see the level, I mean, the separation already off that one. It puts goosebumps on you. Everything negative, pressure, challenges is all an opportunity for me to rise. I mean, damn, now, hey, Kobe heating up. The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. You see, there's a reason why Kobe Bryant has quotes under his name. Now that makes sense. Winning takes precedence over all. There are no gray areas, no almost's, meaning no 3 for 9s, meaning no 33.3% NBA Finals average in performance, meaning we don't accept failure over here, meaning we don't accept the fact that you just arrived to the party or you just arrived to the dance. Listen to what Kobe just said. Winning takes precedence over all. There are no gray areas, meaning there is no participation award era. It's either you're going to get this shit done or not. That's why I remember when Kobe said, I won a regular season MVP, but we didn't win the title. This was a waste of a fucking year. Do you guys remember when Kobe said that? How many people in the chat remember that? I want y'all to put a yes in the fucking comment section. This man said, I won a regular season. I didn't win an NBA title. I won a regular season MVP, but I had no title. This was a waste of a fucking year. And that's exactly what it was, a waste of a damn season. Now, I'm going to read the 6th one. Once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success. Woo, woo, woo. I got to read that one again, dog. I got to let that marinate the corpus callosum into the cerebellum. Rehear Kobe and rehear Kobe well. This man said, once you know what failure feels like, determination chases success. I could even see Jalik, the leader over there, getting goosebumps. He's like, damn, this dude talking about greatness personification, dog. This man just hit here in the 7th comment and the 7th quote said, I realized that intimidation didn't really exist if you're in the right frame of mind. Whew. I think that went over a lot of people's heads, but I'll say that one again. I realized that intimidation didn't really exist if you're in the right frame of mind. It's just like when he knows the sport goes into debates or he knows the sport goes into any form of fashion. When you're in the right frame of mind and you have prepared your mind for what you're going up against, I can relate to this, Kobe. You're not intimidated, though. You are the intimidator, not the intimidatee. Then he goes on to number 8 and says, I'm reflective only in the sense of what I've learned to move forward. I reflect with a purpose. Woof. Man. And then the last 2, dog. I'm extremely willful to win, and I respond to challenges. It's not a challenge to me to win the scoring title because I know I can. Then he ends it on this last one. My parents are my backbone, still are. They are the only group that will support you if you score 0 or if you score 40. You see the difference? What you saw with LeBron James, you saw a glorified mama's boy. What you saw with Kobe Bryant was a guy that understands the importance of family, but at the same time, he's showcasing to you what he's been through as a man. You see, that's the separation, man. That's the distinction. That's the delineation, man. I listen to Kobe's quotes. I listen to LeBron James' quotes. I don't get the same mental stimulation because you could tell a person's quote tells you what a day and a mile in their shoe looks like. It tells you what they've gone through. It tells you what their basketball lineage was about. It tells you their struggles. It tells you their ups. It tells you their downs. All LeBron James told me was stuff that made me feel good, things that made me feel gleeful. He didn't tell me anything impactful other but one comment of you have to be able to accept failure to get better. And you know why he said that? You know why that's his first comment? Because the dude failed too much. So I could understand why that's his number one comment. I remember when LeBron James lost all those NBA finals the way that he lost it. And right before that season, y'all remember this. I know y'all remember this. And I know you remember this, Jalik. Stephen A. Smith was going on a rant. And Stephen A. Smith was running his mouth. And Stephen A. Smith was saying, man, if LeBron James don't win a title, though, we're going to start calling him the biggest bust in the NBA pantheon of greatness, NBA echelon of guys to ever come out, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to start calling them that. Quincy Royster said, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, Anthony. I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just saying if Kobe wouldn't have had an injury, we would have seen a better him. That's facts. The bottom line is this, man. When we look at Kobe Bryant and we look at LeBron James, this is not the same product, man. Anybody that knows basketball at the highest levels knows this. What Kobe Bryant did for the purple and gold for 20 years, the blood, the sweats, and the tears. That's why Kobe Bryant looked at that NBA fan, and I'm going to take the cam off. He went like this. Let me do that again. The reason why Kobe did that is because you have to understand the feeling behind that. You have to understand why Kobe did that. You have to understand the mindset. You have to understand where Kobe Bryant was coming from when Kobe did that. Kobe did that from a place of shut the hell up. That's what he was trying to tell a fan. Do you not understand the blood, sweat, and tears that I did for the purple and gold? See, when Jalik says that LeBron James is on the regular Mount Rushmore, but he's not on the Lakers Mount Rushmore. To get to the regular Mount Rushmore, you have to first go through the Lakers Mount Rushmore. You don't get on the regular Mount Rushmore and then you didn't go through the Lakers Mount Rushmore. That don't make no sense. Everybody that's on the Lakers Mount Rushmore is on the regular Mount Rushmore, with the exception of Shaquille O'Neal. But if Shaquille O'Neal would have applied himself and not be as lazy and probably would have won one more NBA Finals with one more NBA Finals MVP, yes, he would have been on that list too. But the bottom line is this. Winning one title in a least path of resistance, fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title does not denote you winning at the highest levels. And it does not denote you of you being on the Mount Rushmore. What is the common denominator with a Wilt Chamberlain? What is the common denominator when we sit here and we look at the likes of, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant? They've all been multiple winners for the purple and gold. And if you want to be a purple and gold winner, if you want to be a purple and gold personifier, if you want to be someone that is all engrossed with the purple and gold, then the bottom line is this. You have to ensure that you win multiple times on multiple occasions. This is what purple gold is all about. This is what purple gold denotes itself. This is what purple and gold means. This is what it means to bleed purple and gold. You have to win, and you have to win, and you have to win, and you have to continue to win. That's the standard. So even if LeBron wins this one title, he's going to have to now prove that he could win a title in a real NBA season. That's the bottom line. So when I asked the question on, is LeBron James, will he be on Mount Rushmore if he won an NBA title this year? I'm sorry to say this. No, because LeBron James has to win in multiple instances, in multiple facets, and on multiple occasions for him to get the opportunity, for him to even think in his brain and fashion in his mind that this is something that he can achieve. Because the guys that are on this list, first he has to debunk Wilt Chamberlain. And his 2 titles, let's say if he would have won 2 titles with the Lakers, and I'm giving a big if here. If LeBron would have won 2 titles, his 2 titles are not stronger than Wilt Chamberlain's 2 titles, because guess what? Wilt Chamberlain's 2 titles didn't happen in no damn fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title. It didn't happen in no least path of resistance. It happened during seasons where he's won unquestionably. It happened during seasons where he won unequivocally and the competition were at their best. Same thing for Magic Johnson. Same thing for Wilt Chamberlain. Same thing for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Same thing for all of the pantheon of greats that have been there before. They have won when the competition was the stiffest. When we look at this year, LeBron James' biggest threat to the throne, Kevin Durant, is not even here. So how the heck can we sit here and act like LeBron James has won at his most hardest or most stiffest? Because we know what it looks like, Moneta. We know what it looks like, Anthony L. We know what it looks like, Richy Rich. We know what it looks like, Quincy Royster. We know what it looks like. When LeBron James has faced Kevin Durant, he gets L's. So if he hasn't faced Kevin Durant this year, I'm sorry to say this. This is a fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title. It's a least path of resistance NBA title because he's not facing the stiffest competition. That's just the way we got to roll this thing. So winning a title this year with the NBA stoppage, with BLM going on, with all players in the league not electing to play for whatever reason, whether it's family reasons, whether it's this, whether it's that. Dwight Howard just came out and recently said that the bubble is crazy. Salute to you, Quincy Royster. Salute to you, Post Reloaded. The bubble is crazy out here in these basketball streets. And it's difficult. It's extremely difficult to play in the bubble. For all of these things that to be said, for all of these things to happen, and then for us to turn around and act as if him winning an NBA title in this least path of resistance, in this fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title, for him to get Mount Rushmore status on that, that's straight LeBron talk. And that's why I brought up the Kobe Bryant quotes. That's why I brought up the LeBron James quotes. Because Jalik could say what he wants. But as I was reading the LeBron James quotes, you guys see as I'm talking, you guys could see, my avatar is doing the talking like it's talking. That's what Jalik the leader's avatar was doing when he was showcasing his face. As I was reading Kobe's quotes, his beard was lifting because he understood the profound effect. If you are the reader that I think that you are, if you are this highly conscious person that I think that you are, Jalik, when I mentioned the Kobe's quotes, you saw the more mental effect that it had as opposed to LeBron James. So that shows you a day and a mile in the shoe of the separation, the delineation, the distinction between the gulf between a Kobe Bryant and a LeBron James. This is apples and oranges, y'all. This is oil and water. And we all know the shit don't mix. So to disrespect Kobe Bryant's legacy and to say that LeBron James deserves to come behind that and LeBron James deserves to have a seat at the throne, things that make you say, That's why when Jalen Rose did that, I already knew what time it was. LBJ Brigade, LBJ Apologist, LBJ Stance, LBJ Riders Media pushing the LBJ narrative. I already knew what time it was. LeBron is going to get this 4th title. So get ready, y'all. But when he gets this 4th title, listen, Anthony L. Listen, Womnetta. Listen to everyone that's listening. Sean O., if y'all already had a disdain for LeBron, y'all better make sure y'all going to realize this thing is going to exponentially get worse because the LeBron toys, they're not going to let y'all breathe. And it's going to start with their leader, Jalik the leader. That's why he calls himself Jalik the leader. As a matter of fact, He should change his name to Jalik, the LeBron Tard leader. He's going to lead the affair. You see, this is why we say LeBron is the GOAT. See, the thing where he knows always likes the Sun Tzu, aka Art of War situation, 8 Mile situation. Basically tell you what's going to happen before it's going to happen. So that way, when it happens, you guys already prepared yourself for it. You see, that way you're not intimidated by it. Notice Kobe Bryant's quote: intimidation will never overtake you if you are in the right frame of mind. So he knows the sport is putting you guys in the right frame of mind. You want to know what that right frame of mind is? Prepare yourself for Jalik, the LeBron Tard leader, to tell you that LeBron is the GOAT because LeBron has won his 4th NBA title. When we know damn well that the reason why he won his 4th NBA title is because NBA Nike need to recoup their investment. I said this to my African friend the other day. He basically wanted to pull all his dreads out, man. Let me say it again. He wanted to pull all his dreads out because he couldn't believe it. The LeBron Tard in him could not believe that I said it. I said yes. Oh, let me send that text again. Yes, NBA Nike need to recoup their $90 million investment. And I know it made him feel hot and bothered like grits because his ass is in LA. He's a Lakers fan all the way to the T, and he didn't want to hear that because he was coming at me on some Clipper stuff. And see, you can't come at me on some Clipper stuff not knowing that I'm going to come at you back on the fact that they need LeBron James to win because they know this is the last year, Jalik. Get it through your head. After this year, LeBron ain't winning no more NBA titles, man. That's it. So they got to make sure that he has his own last dance. So they're going to give it to him while it's easy. The Denver Nuggets is not beating the Los Angeles Lakers. And anyone that has fashioned their Rudy Poo Plum Plum brain, classic Golden Troglodyte brain, ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric brain to say that the Los Angeles Lakers are going to lose to the Denver Nuggets, all I have to say is things that make you say, ain't no damn Jamal Murray beating no damn LeBron James. That's just the way I got to roll on that. And it's not because LeBron James is great. It's because LeBron James is the darling. And they got to finish recouping their investment before it's all said and it's all done. And this is the easiest time for them to get it. And if they don't get it now, then guess what? LeBron ain't never getting it. And these LBJ fans are going to run his ass. These Laker fans are going to run his ass out of LA. You guys see the rant that Ice Cube been putting on LeBron. You see the rant that these other Laker fans, they ready for LeBron, man. They prepping for LeBron because they know LeBron better deliver the goods. So you know what they're going to do for the Lakers nation? They're going to give them an NBA title in the weakest moment so that they can say, look, this is what LeBron was able to give you guys because he can't give you guys anything else. Outside of the Miami Heat, what has LeBron done when he's won NBA titles? When he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he won only one. And how many years did he go to the NBA Finals? One. Richy Brazy. Tell him, did I not say this? Richy Brazy said LeBron got the easiest path yet, laughing my ass off. Did I not say this? Did I not predict this thing 6 months in advance? See, I have people out here in these basketball streets that could denote. This is why you have a catalog of things that's called videos. When you put out these Prediction King fashion styles and you tell these people these things many months in advance, people, the thing about He Knows His Sport has a conundrum because He Knows His Sport is viewed as the weirdest when it comes to predictions. But Richy Brazy, tell him, what is the percentile ratio, dog? I'm at least 90% minimum with my predictions, dog, when it comes to these things. Especially the weirder they are, the more accurate I'm going to be. That's just the way it rolls. And I told everybody, they're going to prepare this agenda. Richy Brazy, you know I'm keeping that comment up because it's time to put respect on He Knows His Sport's name, dog, because he's bringing you that heat and that fire. And he's keeping a foot on the what? On the next. And he keeping a foot on the what? On the next. I kept the foot on the next with that, man. I told everybody, prepare for LeBron James to win an NBA title in this fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title, in this least path of resistance NBA title. So while everybody's so caught up on the prediction that I got wrong and saying that it was going to be the Lakers and the Clippers, notice And I noticed that with fickle fans. They always so ready in the minuscule times that he knows the sport gets something wrong to say, he knows, you got this wrong, man. You got this. I thought you said, but how many times every time I get something right, they, la cucaracha, yo no puedo caminar. La cucaracha, yo no puedo caminar. They scatter like fucking cockroaches. How many times they do that? And they don't give me my respect. This is a big prediction that I gave y'all out here in these basketball streets. It's time to put respect on he knows his name. Yeah, I got to glow for a second because everybody forgot that bigger prediction. They so quick to tell me, well, you said Lakers, but didn't I say LeBron was going to make it to the last dance? And his ass is going to make it to the NBA Finals. I have all of the confidence in the world. I'm willing to wager any fucking bet against any damn body that the Denver Nuggets is not beating the Los Angeles Lakers. That shit ain't happening because I already could see how the story script line is being written because LeBron was the one that said, no, we have to continue the NBA restart. We have to bring back this season because he knows this was the easiest opportunity for him to win. He knew that this was the least path of resistance. That's why Anthony L. LeBron wasn't going to do no BLM, dog. No way. LeBron wasn't going to stand on no social movement mentality or social movement talk. He wasn't going to do none of that. Because if he did that, he would have understood that he would have been ruining his easiest opportunity to win an NBA title. That's the facts, y'all. And anybody that's sitting here and running away from that and is not accepting that truth, I don't know what I have to tell y'all. Like Quincy Royster said, Kobe and Jordan had a killer mentality from a young age, and they had the support behind them. LeBron didn't. Wade taught him how to win and got to call a spade a spade. Facts. If you are a LeBron tard, that should be law out of your mouth. You should say LeBron did Dwayne Wade dirty. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up, man. We got 12 people watching. We only got 8 thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, man, because we dropping that napalm on y'all. Dwayne Wade turned around and Dwayne Wade said, look here, LeBron, we don't want you looking like the biggest bust out here in these basketball streets. So we got to turn around and we got to get you an NBA title, man. We got to get you a win. Even if it means that I have to regress myself, which is why Richy Rich of the world renounced himself from the likes of a D Wade. Because Richy Rich didn't respect the fact that a D Wade, of all people, would turn around and say to himself out of his own mouth, I ain't no longer the alpha on the team. I'm going to regress to a beta. I don't never know no alpha that do no fuck shit like that. That's what he did with LeBron James, just so LeBron James could win a title. That's sad. Rip B. Brazy said, Bucks out, Clippers out. Damn, every little threat LeBron was going to face is all out. Facts. And you know what's the sad part about it, Rip B. Brazy? In all of the predictions that I made, I didn't see. That was the only one that I did not see, and I should have said it. I was thinking it, but I never said it. So because I never said it, I can't take credit for it. But I was thinking in my brain that, you know what? They might fuck around and have all of LeBron's competition lose so that he can win a title. I should have said it. See, that's Rick B. Brazy, appreciate you, man. That's a cardinal mistake I would never make again. Because every time I'm thinking something, y'all, I automatically say it. And that was the first time I held the gun on that one. And I shouldn't have done that because if I would, then I would be ultimately Prediction King fashion style right now, but I can't. So I got to just take my little 50%. It is what it is. And I can't stand 50% of any damn thing because this platform here, we don't do 50-50 over here, man. We all about 100%. But I guess I got to get 50 out of the scenario because I did say that LeBron was going to be where he was at. And I did say that LeBron's going to win his 4th title, which he will. And that will be my ultimate gloat of the prediction. But I said the Lakers and the Clippers, but I should have saw the bigger picture. I wasn't operating that Sun Tzu, aka the War Mind, y'all. So I gotta take that one. I gotta take the ownership of that. See, he knows could acknowledge when he knows wasn't on point with something, man. And I wasn't on point with that because I was thinking it, but I didn't say it. And since I didn't say it, it doesn't count. That's the way that I gotta look at it. But the bottom line is this: LeBron has to win and they're gonna make sure he wins by any means necessary. Salute, Melo S. And they're gonna do whatever they gotta do. So Jalik, get ready to gloat, man. Get ready to enjoy. But guess what, Richy Rich? It's gonna be short-lived because I'm gonna be right here saying, hold up. Didn't I tell you LeBron was gonna win? Because the NBA and Nike wanted him to win, not because he was great. I'm gonna remind you that every time you bring up he won because he was GOAT. Because I know you're ready for that. You see, let me tell you something about LeBron tards. They do this passive aggressive stuff, Richy Rich. That's why Jalik the leader is laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. LeBron tards do this passive aggressive stuff, y'all. They make it seem like, well, you know, we got to do a built-in excuse real quick because we don't know if LeBron's going to win, man. So we got to throw in a built-in excuse to act like LeBron James may not possibly win the NBA title. So we got to prepare our minds for that, man. We got to act as if this ain't going to happen. See, they do these fuck shits because they know that there's a potential that LeBron could actually win and there's a potential that he can't win. So they got to do the built-in excuses. See, they've learned from their master. LeBron was the master of this. If you notice, every season, LeBron always throws in a built-in excuse of why he coulda, shoulda, woulda, or why he can't win, or why he should win, or why he shouldn't win, etc., etc. This happens all the time. So the bottom line is this. LeBron James is going to win this year. LeBron tards are going to be roaring. So Rick B. Brazy, get your mind ready for it. Because remember, intimidation only affects you if you're not in the right frame of mind. And I'll put y'all in the right frame of mind. You know what the right frame of mind is? Every time a LeBron tard talk, you say the reason why they won, the reason why they want LeBron to win is because this is a fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot title. This is a least path of resistance NBA title. And this was an NBA title that Nike and the NBA needed to recoup their $90 million initial dollar investment. You start talking that way, you know what LeBron tards are going to do? They're going to get mad at you. They're going to say you love hating, and they're going to say the same things that they say. See, I'm giving y'all the counters. Y'all better run with it. I'm giving y'all the counters because y'all need to prepare yourselves because it's coming. And that's all I got to say with that. Any closing commentary from Jalik and Richy Rich before we close out?
First, I'll say it's like an echo. Hold on one second. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. We agree to disagree. Shout out to all the people that's in part of the Jordan cult, the people that stand in line at 3 o'clock in the morning and buy their tickets at Foot Locker just to get his sneakers. Shout out to all of them. I know it's hard to get out of a cult, but I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're in a cult, I still mess with you. You still have my 100% support. Shout out to Richy for being reasonable today. You know what I'm saying? He was double talking, but he was being reasonable. Now, the publicist, for those who don't know, he knows his sports has a lot of side hustles. One thing about the guy, he's very organized. I do my lives. I'm all over the place. This guy is very structured, so I got to give it to him. So it's no secret why he would be a hell of a publicist for the Clippers. You know what I mean? We talked about that yesterday. So shout out to him, man. And even if LeBron don't win, he's still the GOAT to me. But I'm not counting out the Nuggets. That series, I'm tuned in. I think it starts tomorrow, so I can't wait to see that one. And to be honest with you, I want Jimmy Butler to win it. Like the Celtics, I don't really mess with them like that. To be honest with you, I picked them to win, but I want the Jimmy. I want Jimmy to get it because he's a two-way player. He worked hard and he shows some adjustments in his personality. See, when you lose, you got to look at yourself. Some people hire sports psychologists. Some people, they own psychologists, and some people don't get it, like Mr. Russell Westbrook, still getting in fights at 32 years old with Rondo brothers. Something wrong with the boy. Everybody's scared of him, and they won't tell him the truth. You see, Butler learned from it. I'm sure he had his part in it, but he learned from it. You know what I'm saying? And that shows a great leader. So that's why I'm 100% behind Jimmy Butler. But that's all I have it out there. And shout out to everybody on the panel, man. And be great.
That's what's up. That's what's up. It's all good, Lewis Sports Network. I figured it was something that was up, man. Appreciate you, man. But Richy Rich, any closing thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. It's always, great to come on the chat with you guys. Chop it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you guys. He knows Jalik the leader. the chat, Jalik, listen, bro. If you calling these people a cult, what are you, man? The way you propping up Brian, calling him the cult. I mean, you listen. If these people are a cult, then what are you? You gotta look in the mirror, bro. And listen, what you are with LeBron is kind of delusional. You say he's the GOAT, that's cool and all. Maybe he's met a certain goal that in your eyes he's the GOAT, but when you look at this basketball thing from from all facets, nah, man, you don't cut it. You know what I'm saying? He just don't cut it. It's not. But to you, he's the GOAT. He's reached a certain goal, just like my big brother. That's how he is. That's how he roots for LeBron James too. Man, he's reached a certain goal, so he thinks LeBron James is the GOAT. That's cool. But when you look at basketball at its full entirety, he don't cut it, man. And that's just the facts. You know what I'm saying? But I don't got a problem with you thinking he's the GOAT to yourself, because you looked at him, you viewed his body of work, and to him, it's your opinion. We gotta respect your opinion at the end of the day, because it's your opinion. Just like we all have our own opinions. But watching this thing from a whole and looking at these guys, looking at their body of works, looking at their legacies, what they've left behind, you don't cut it, man. When you put them there and you match them up with everybody, nah, I'm sorry. But appreciate you guys once again. Appreciate you all in the chat giving your viewpoints and talking about what we had to say on this chat. We went in on a lot of topics, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna keep bringing that heat for you guys. I don't know when we're gonna jump on this thing again next week, but there's some great series going on, and we're gonna keep you guys posted.
That's what's up, man. Salute to those that's in the chat. Salute to everyone. Lewis, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? You're still a brother from another mother. I figured it was something that was up. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of y'all that showed up and showed out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good Thirsty Thursday. Thank you guys for the support. For those that continue to rock with the platform, appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I always appreciate everyone that shows consistency. Us, we back on active rotation. When we said we was back on active rotation, we said it, and we've given it to you guys. Hopefully you feel that the full effect of keeping the foot on the what on the next and keeping the foot on the what on the next is back in order. Jalik, appreciate the compliment, man. I do my best to try to stay structured and organized. I'm glad you're able to see that. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that rubs off on you and it trickles down on you as well. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line is, appreciate the consistency of your support, of being on the panel. Your personality works well. I think everyone could speak volumes. You're actually a LeBron tard that speaks highly intelligently. You speak with a good vocabulary, and you actually know how to put your words together. Most LeBron tards, they don't know what 2 + 2 is. The fact that you actually know what 2 + 2 is, that speaks volumes. That tells me that, hey, some LeBron tards are actually smart. It is what it is. Even though, like Face to Go said, even though they have incredibly low standards, if LeBron is your GOAT, the bottom line is they got some intelligence. So credit to you on that. LeBron is GOAT. Salute to you. Appreciate you for stopping by and showing your love. Everyone that showed up and showed out, man, appreciate y'all, man. Hit that thumbs up. Continue to donate to the platform. You guys see the banner down low for the super chat. Make sure you guys, give your Sunday's best. Donate to the platform, whatever it could be. Super chat or Cash App. We're going to continue to give you guys consistency. We're going to continue to give you guys that heat and that fire. Make sure you guys check out Lewis, you know what I'm saying, and him covering his live games. That brother's deep. I respect the brother's channel. I'm always going to, shout out to my fellow brethrens, because when it's all said and done, I understand what it takes to be a content creator. LeBron is GOAT. I understand your you know what I'm saying, creativity, and I understand what it means for you to put out content. It's not easy. Anybody that's a content creator, Jalik the leader, you know what I'm talking about. It takes a lot, man. It takes discipline. It takes consistency. It takes creativity. It takes a lot. And I appreciate those that are fellow content creators out here in these YouTube streets. And when it's all said and done, it's all none but love. It's all none but respect. And it's all nothing but us just working together for a common goal, man. Bringing each other up, building each other up, and raising each other up. We talk basketball. We do shits and giggles. We have fun with it. But when it's all said and done, we're all about everybody's betterment. Well, I hope you guys make it out in this 2020 safe with no issues. Anthony L., I'm going to have a heavy dose of you next week. So get ready, fam. Other than that, man, appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support once again. Richy Rich, you tore it up. Jalik, you're tearing it up, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your ability to speak is getting better with each and every single live, man. I might as well start calling you the poor man Stephen A. Smith, dog. I might have to start calling you that, dog. The poor man Stephen A. Smith. And I mean it in a way that you articulate your words. Maybe you don't like the comparison. I don't know.
Stephen A. Smith though, but your nickname fit you, bro. You the publicist, bro. You gotta accept that, bro. You the publicist, bro.
Hey, man, I do the best that I can. You guys do the best that you can. I appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up, man. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone that stopped by. We're gonna run this thing back again next week. So we definitely gonna be live. Check out the community post. And I have one last thing that I want to tell you guys. Make sure y'all check out the notifications. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube acting funny out here in these basketball streets. Those are the content creators. I would say the same thing. Make sure you tell your audience that. Make sure y'all check out the notifications and make sure that, you know what I'm saying, the notification bell icon is on so that each and every single time that I send something out, you guys are receiving it. So that way you guys can participate, man. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all enjoy y'all Thirsty Thursday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Be safe out here in these streets called life. And we'll see you guys next week, man. Peace.